So welcome to another episode in Core AI. This is Chandra here again. So today we'll walk through a Wealth Campus. This is kind of an application which I've created with Firebase Studio, which has Gemini model into it. Now, what is Wealth Campus, right? It's kind of an application that delivers personalized investments, advices based on to your financial goals and real-time market trends. But all of this has been driven by the Gemini model. It gives you kind of a trending analysis. What are the stocks you need to look at? And if you have any specific stocks in your mind, you can also look into it, or also look at some commodities which you have in mind. If you want to invest in gold, what will be the projection in the next 3 to 4 months, and what will be the projection of the stocks based on the current market trends. So what makes this project unique is that what it does, right? So it is using Firebase Studio, GenKit, and the Gemini 2.0 Flash. And this is a hands-on example how we can build LLM native applications using Firebase Studio. Now, how I started this is in Firebase Studio, this kind of a conversational development environment where I can literally say what are the app features which needs to be developed and choose the components like React and the Next.js, and as well as the Firestore schemas and backend functions. But the catch is that this is kind of more of an AI pair programming and not just an autopilot, right? So every generated block has to be reviewed, has to be structured, and sometimes rewritten on the business logic, keeping the rule of the human in the loop always, right? So you always have a hold of what's going on and how we want to design the applications. Okay, let's dive deep into like how we can look at the components created for the Firebase Studio and how are these working together as an application. Now, if you look into this is kind of a Next.js application which has been created, and it follows a standard structure, and you have the Next.js logics over here written. So you have the Next.js configuration. This just talks about the settings for the TypeScript, and the remote images, and as well as the Tailwinds config.ts. This talks about the CSS theme, including the custom fonts, colors, and animations. So I've set it up to use the CSS variables for easy theming. And next you have this packages.json. So this kind of lists the project dependencies, including React, GenKit, and as well as defines the scripts for each in development, building, and running GenKit. And then you have the components.json. This configuration is for the URL specifying the style, the component paths, and the tail setup as well. And then you have the tsconfig.json. This is the TypeScript compiler options defining the path classes and the alliances for cleaner imports. Right? This is how all the TypeScript structures has been defined so far. Now, if you look at from an application source code, so let's take into this, right? So the main application specific components are going to be the recommendation form. So this is the form, a client-side form built with React Hook form and Zord for validation. It handles all the user input for income, investment, percentage, and as well as asset selection, including the commodities in stock. So it kind of it has a search API for the stocks, and it has a functionality embedded into that, so that it goes and searches each and every stocks into it. Now we also have the recommendation results. So this displays the formatted results from the AI from the model. So including the total investment amount and the grid of the commodity stocks cards as well. Then you have the commodity card. So with this kind of again card that represents the summary for a single asset, including allocation, trend, and a trigger to open the details model, right? So there's a model chart which will be there as well. Now there is one more called as the commodity details model. So this kind of a model chart which comes up. This is a dialog that shows the detailed information for an asset, including an historical price chart, V-charts, demand analysis, sources. It contains logic to mock data for chart continuity as well, right? So and last but not least, it's the icons. So you define the custom SVG icons for the different commodities, providing a clean way to render the form. And those are the major components of this particular application, right? You can see it side by side as well. Now moving on, right? So we have the GenKit as well. So the GenKit is kind of the one which drives all of this. So you have the Gemini 2.0 Flash here. It contains the model and the AI plugin and the default model which is driving all of this, right? So I've imported the GenAI kits and as well as the model 2.0 Flash so that it drives all of this together. Now, if you look at the flows, so the flows contains most of the server-side GenKit flows. So one is your recommend portfolio.ts. So this is the primary AI flow. It defines the input output schemas with Zord using a structured prompts. and leverages two tools: get asset price and search web for together the real-time inputs as well. Now moving on, let's see what is the next one. You have your search stock as well. There's a simple flow dedicated to searching the stock symbols using an external API. So what I've done is I've connected an external API. So globally, what will happen is if you search for any particular stock, it will bring up with globally anything in from US, UK, or France, or from the European Union, or from Japan, or from India. But most of your stocks will be in the UK and the US, where you try to invest in it, and you're investing at certain companies like Tesla or Palantir or any other innovative companies from the US. You can still do that. So this is kind of a search API. It empowers the autocomplete feature, and as well as it gives you the recommended stocks on how, if you have something in your mind, it keeps on going on that. Now we have what else do we have? So I think that's about it. So you have kind of looked at the structure of the project itself. So what we can do next is that we can go into demo and look at how we can get this done, right? So and look at how the app actually works, and what are the things you can see from the app, and how the model is trying to get the analysis, and as well as the demand analysis, and how it is grounding the truth to sources as well. Okay, so let's go to the demo of the application, right? So for Wealth Campus. So what I've done is I've posted this in our website. So this is from the Google Firebase Studio itself. So you can see it's been posted here. So this is kind of the this is the first screen which comes out to you. So you have the icon over here called the Wealth Campus. Then it says about navigating financial future. You have to, what are the inputs needed for this, right? You enter your annual income, you select the assets, if you're going to be the stocks or the commodities. Then you choose kind of an investment percentage, which is kind of a slider, whichever turn, so that it slides you around how much of a percentage you want to invest from your annual amounts, and or then you click on generate recommendations and all of this, and then you get your AI powered investment strategy, right? The Gemini model behind the application will look into all these stocks and commodities which you kind of choose, and then come up with a trend analysis and the model chart. So let's go through this one by one. So let's say, okay, your annual income in GBP. So what I do is let me enter 75,000. Okay, it's just a random number, just putting it as 75,000 over here. And then the next one says select stocks. So I can look at stocks which are performing all over the world. So there's an API which goes and gets into it. So it has an autocomplete feature as well. So let me see if I can start typing Tesla, and it comes up with the Tesla as well. Yeah, yep, there it is. So we have Tesla here, and let's say that you want to invest in Shell, which is the UK. And yes, you have Shell. You can add it here, and let's say that you have British Petroleum. So that again, it comes out here. So again, BP, it's here. And let's say that you have, again, you want to invest in some of the innovative companies like Palantir. So it's again for the US. So you have Palantir here. It's fine. So now you have 3 stocks in your mind, and you think that you want to channelize your income into that. You want to start investing it because you've seen a lot of news around it in the markets, and you see that investing in these particular companies, and you want to know what are the trends in the next 3 to 4 years and where your money is going, right? So that's one. The next one is most of the people look at commodities as well. So they either invest in gold, silver, crude oil, corn, and pepper. So there are other commodities. Since there's an MVP, I'm not listed the entire list of commodities, but I can still add that. But for now, let's say that I would just want to invest in gold. I don't want to invest in anything else because gold gives you stability in the economy. So I'm saying that I'm going to invest in gold always. And investment percentage. It says that select how much of your annual income you want to invest. So right now I set it as 15% as a bar, but it has a slider. So it gives you the option to choose about how much you want to invest, right? So it is 5%, 1%, 2%, whatever it is, right? You can still go through that. So let's say, like for example, let me just say I'll slide this across and I'll say I want to invest only 5% of my annual income and see what are the recommendations for that. So there's a button called generate recommendations. So once I hit this button, what this will do is it will call the Gemini AI model, and it will kind of create the AI strategy recommendation for this. Let's see how it works. Yeah. Now I have clicked on that. It says analyzing market trends. Your personalized portfolio is being created. So I'll give it some time because it takes some time for it to go hit the API, kind of look at the current prices, and as well as come back with a chart, create charts for that. Okay, so once I've clicked on generate recommendations, it comes out with strategy. So it says that recommended investment is 5% of your income. So that is, if you look into this, you input as 75,000. So 5% of 75,000 is 3,750 pounds. So that's the amount that's taken into it. Now, what it does, right? So it's actually kind of looking into the assets which we have kind of looked at and see what is that we can allocate accordingly, right? So it says 3,750 is what I have, but I'll allocate 20% into gold, 20% into Tesla, and 20% to Shell, and 20% into BP, and 20% into Palantir. And why? So there is a kind of a justification around it. So the insights behind your recommended allocation. So what the AI says is that this portfolio is diverse across commodities, gold, technology partners Tesla and Palantir, and energy, Shell, and BP sectors to balance risk and opportunity. Given market volatility and economic uncertainty, the portfolio includes a mix of stable and growth oriented assets. Gold acts as a hedge against inflation and economic downturns, while technology stocks provide growth potential. Energy companies offer exposure to the recurring energy market while also accounting for the transition to renewable energy sources. The allocation aims to capitalize on both current trends and the long-term growth prospect, right? So this is kind of a strategy what Gemini is saying that it's going to be a mixed bag, and you want to invest across multiple in terms of allocation. You want to kind of segregate it across ones which are very stable and the ones which do have some kind of instability as well, and the ones which are growing and has a stable income in the next couple of years. Now, if you look into this in this kind of a chart which I've designed, right? So it has gold, it has the allocation which is 750 pounds, which is a 20% allocation from 3,750. Then it has a trending up. So it says this particular gold, this particular asset is trending up, and it says it will reach approximately 900 pounds in 3 to 5 years projection if you invest 750 right now. So that's kind of a projection. So I've written how. So how is it doing this now? What happens is it opens up a model chart. It kind of give you that chart which says like what are the lows and highs of gold in the last 5 years, right? By default it's 5 years, so it says from 2025 what are the lows and highs for each and every for gold, and it gives you a starter as well to look at what was the history beyond 5 years as well. Say if you want to go to 10 years, you can still do that. 9 years, you can still do that, and it goes to 5 years. You can keep on kind of looking through the slider, and it'll give you an option, and the chart will keep on changing towards that. That's one. Then the demand analysis. Why the AI thinks that you need to invest in this, right? So demand for gold is driven by safe enhanced inflation hedging properties and using jewelry and electronics. Central bank purchases also influence demand. So there's a lot of demand for gold, and the AI, the model thinks that yes, you need to invest in gold so that you can get better better income in the next 3 to 5 years. And how is it saying that? It's grounding it to two sources. So it's saying like I've got this information from Kitco, I've got from the information gold.org, and this is what we see it right now. So that's how the entire application works. So if you look at, you can kind of gives you an allocation about how your money can be split and how it can give you an AI powered investment strategy across multiple stocks. If you have anything in your mind, you can put into that and it goes on, right? And it also tells you like gold tend to retain its value during economic uncertainty based on historical performance during recessions and current geopolitical tensions. A conservative estimate projects a steady increase. So you're going to put it as 20%, and it says that it will become 900 pounds in 3 to 5 years. Now, if you look at stocks, so Tesla. So let's pick up Tesla. So Tesla is demand is driven by electric vehicles, energy storage solutions, and technology innovation in the automotive sector. But the government incentives and environmental awareness also plays a significant role. So there's been a lot of news around how EVs are going to get scaled down because of the environment and everything, right? So all these are coming into picture as well. So, and it is grounding this truth against two sources, Tesla and as well as the Reuters, and it gives you kind of the projection of what has happened in the recent past and how the stock was performing then and how it is stocked right now. So it gives you kind of a demand analysis what Tesla might look in the next 3 to 5 years, right? So let's say like it is trending down. So it is saying that based on economic factors and everything, it might trend down. So it says Tesla's growth is tied to EV adoption, technological advancements, considering the increasing competition in the EV market and the potential regulatory hurdles. A moderate growth rate is projected based on current market analysis and past performance. The anticipated value that Tesla retains market share and continues to renovate. So that's how it is, right? So it will give you a kind of an overview of why you need to allocate the 20% and why you need to have a mixed bag of allocation so that your money can grow. So, and it is remarkable. It's remarkable, right? So it says all of this is being driven by the model, right? So it says the AI is actually picking up all of these details from APIs and as well as looking at the current details. This is an MVP, so some of it might be mocked, but if you put it on real time, right? It's the API is going to give you live data, and everything is going to be live, and it will actually give you the details and it'll do all the current analysis of how this is going to be done. And if you look at from an application perspective, right, the heart of the system is GenKit, right? That's going to be the open source AI framework. It actually gave me the power to create structured reasoning flows using Gemini 2.0 Flash. It will also inject real-time stock data through the APIs and also the JSON outputs, right? So all of this is coming up from the Firebase Studio and as well as the GenKit. Now each AI call which I make part of it is more testable and predictable. So whenever I make the AI call, it kind of goes into the API search and comes back to the details, and I would be able to ground it back into the truth as well. Now, if you look at the next step about what is powering all of this, right? It's going to be the Gemini 2.0 Flash. So now, what is happening is at the core, it is the one which is not just a chatbot. It's kind of a different, I would say, an avatar of Gemini, which will explicitly direct, parse user profiles, evaluate the environment risk, investment risk as well, and you can look at analyze the market data for now. So that's Gemini is kind of powering this, and it is giving you like returning all the structured portfolio strategies of where you want to put the money in as well. Now, this is kind of the magic. So what happens is that together Firebase Studio, GenKit, and Gemini, you are able to create a seamless development workflow from conversations to front-end UI, back-end orchestration, and AI intelligence, right? All of this in a very, very, very short time, right? So this is not a project which I worked on for months. This is a project which I worked on a number of days. So I could bring this live into production in just a matter of number of days. Now, what the app delivers. Now, users get a clean, responsive interface where they can input financial goals and instantly receive investment recommendations, all grounded in data, and it's all guided by the Gemini AI, and it's all tailored in real time. Sometimes it is, since it's an MVP, sometimes it is mock data, but you can fine tune this and make this real time data as well. Now, building Wealth Campus is about me embracing AI as a development partner, more of an AI programming buddy. So what actually helped me do out is that I tell or I instruct Gemini to create certain things, and logically with constructs and with structure, it helps me create the app. Now, Wealth Campus is just one example, right, of what's possible when you blend AI intelligence with structured scalable engineering, and there are a number of possibilities. So if you're building with LLMs, Firebase Studio, let's connect. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the full repo and the demo in the description as well. So I'll be providing a link for the GitHub repo and as well as a demo, so you can start with this. Thank you.